Are you or someone you know looking to buy or sell a home? When you use a HomeGain Realtor to buy or sell a home, you can get $150. Visit HomeGain.com and click on the Promo 150 banner at the top of the page to get started. Compare HomeGain Realtors and choose your favorite. Complete your home purchase or sale transaction with a HomeGain Realtor, and HomeGain will pay you $150. Get started today by going to HomeGain.com.
Welcome back, Washington, D.C. Metro, to Real Estate 360 Live. I'm your host, Ryan Sloper, joined today by my guest, Louis Cammarosano, the general manager of HomeGain. Quick reminder, Real Estate 360 Live is designed to build Washington, D.C.'s housing and credit markets one house at a time. If you ever have any questions, concerns, whether it's finance, real estate, credit, the best number to reach out to me is 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030, or via the web at realestate360live.com. That's realestate360live.com. You guys can go right online, ask me a question. I'd be glad to get back to you by, close the business today. No problem at all. I want to jump in now for this week's Credit Fix segment. We're going to talk with our local credit professional, Rondy Lambeth, where he's going to cover the top tips as far as credit and getting your credit repaired. This week, he's going to discuss foreclosures and short sales and whether they can be removed from your credit report and what you should look out for. Here's Rondy.
Hi, this is Rondy, certified FICO credit professional and your local credit expert, bringing to you each and every week what I think the banks, the credit bureaus, the nasty collection companies, what they don't want you to know about your credit score, and what actually happens behind closed doors. It's almost impossible nowadays to watch the news without seeing a story about a foreclosure or a loan mod or a short sale. And you're getting all of this misinformation from non-qualified people, talking heads, people that say that, hey, save your credit, do a short sale, call me, I can help you save your credit, avoid foreclosure at all costs. I got to tell you something, people, it's all garbage. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And here's what I mean about that. A short sale or a foreclosure, neither one of them impact your credit score one bit. It's the late payments that actually affect the credit score. The 30, the 60, the 90, the 120 late. There's no FICO reason code for foreclosure. There's no FICO reason code for short sale. They're both neutral. What's impacting your credit score is the late payments. So if you get behind on your mortgage, it's the same as going through foreclosure. Now, the only difference is if you get behind on your mortgage, you got to wait a year before you can refinance or purchase. Whereas if you go through a foreclosure, you might have to wait 4 to 7 years. And if you go through a short sale, well, it just depends if you have the late payments. You can have someone like me help you get rid of the late payments. We help people every day, legally, permanently, and quickly get late payments, foreclosures, tax liens, judgments, foreclosures removed from the credit report. And it's really not that difficult. See, federal law restricts the banks from reporting inaccurate information. There's so much going on with the banks today, they can't keep up with all the data. There's billions of bits of data that are floating back and forth on the internet. They can't keep up with it. And because they can't keep up with it, that means that we can get it removed. In fact, 8 out of 10 times we get the foreclosure and the bankruptcy and the short sale and the late payments and the charge-offs and collections removed permanently from people's credit report, just like you. So if you're looking at a foreclosure, if you're looking at a short sale, do yourself a favor. Call the host of this radio show and they're going to put you in touch with a professional, someone that it's set up to help you navigate through this confusing real estate world with all these talking heads that are giving you misinformation. And it comes from the banks. It comes from the credit bureaus, because the worse your credit score is, the more they make. In fact, every study done since 1969 has the same results. The credit bureaus and banks, on purpose, in my opinion, they manipulate the credit score to drive it down, because the lower your credit score is, the more money they make. So do yourself a favor. Give the show a call. Give the host a call and get a professional to help you with your real estate needs and your credit needs. I'm your credit coach, Ronnie Lambeth, certified FICO credit professional, bringing you the truth each and every week. And it's the truth that's going to set you free.
Rondi, that's great information. I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that are confused by the facts that it's not necessarily the foreclosure, short sale, or bankruptcy that you're actually going through. It is the late payments that are taking place that are dinging people's credit. And I want to give a prime example for a circumstance where if people are in a distressed situation and they're unsure about whether they should, go through the short sale process, there's many short sales that are actually done where the borrower actually doesn't have to go late on their mortgage payments. Now, let me tell you what the benefits of that are. If you're able to short sale the property and you don't have any late payments, then technically your credit score is going to remain the exact same. So what that's going to allow you to do is to be able to buy another home. Now, technically, the guidelines state that you can buy another home 2 years removed from short sale. But as Rondi said, anything can be challenged on the credit report. So I highly recommend that you reach out to me at 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. And let me see if I can put you in contact with Rondi to see if we're able to remove a foreclosure or short sale from your credit report if it was not reported accurately. Now, I want to stress accurately, because if there's any one thing on that report that wasn't reported according to Fair Credit Reporting Act standards, then it must be removed and must be removed permanently. Bottom line, 877-245-2030, or you can reach us via the web at creditwrench.net. That's creditwrench.net. Lewis, wouldn't you agree that this is one of the big things out there that a lot of people don't know to do, is just that they should be talking to professionals that understand credit? Because this could be the difference between, ruining your credit for the next 7 to 10 years or being able to buy another home 2 to 4 years after going through, such a stressful event like this.
Well, since I'm an agreeable sort, I'll agree with you, but I'll point out it's the Internet that's a blessing and a curse. People think just because there's the Internet, they can figure everything out themselves, and they think that they can become experts and they can sell their home on their own, they can figure out their credit scores on their own, they can figure out mortgage rates on their own. They can be their own doctor. The Internet is good, and it's good that a consumer can get educated, but it doesn't eliminate the need for professionals in these areas, especially where you're going to spend $500,000 to buy a home. Your credit is at risk. You really do need to speak to a professional. Now, you need to speak to the right professional. Sometimes you might be better off going and learning on your own, but the right professional truly is a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen so many cases lately where people just automatically assume, just because they've had some very bad events take place in their life, that it kind of ruined their credit and they can't get back on their feet. And, believe it or not, I've worked with a lot of these people, and in 30 to 60 to 90 days, they're actually turned around where they wanted to purchase. They actually had a little bit of money saved up, and they were in line to be able to buy a home, but it was probably going to be 2 years out. We get their credit fixed in 30, 60, 90 days, just depending upon how bad the situation is, and they're able to buy in less than 6 months.
Right. The flip side that Rodney was talking about is, you look online, people believe what they see online. They believe the home values that they see, they believe the interest rates that they see, and they believe those come-ons that, I can help you with your credit, don't do a short sale or foreclosure.
Right. Yep.
So people do believe what they see, but it's up to the professional to get in front of these consumers and let them know what value they add.
Yeah, and and this is actually...
The Internet is free, and that's what you're competing with.
Absolutely. And, I do think that it is good to educate yourself and to try to find out as much information as possible. But then once you get that information, it's probably good to call up a professional and verify that information. Like you said, there is a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of it is just marketing. It's information that's put out there to get you to pick up the phone. And,
there's nothing nefarious about it. It's just not the complete analysis, and it's not the complete advice. It's just information. Absolutely.
And I think, one of the best advice that I can give a lot of people out there that are in distress situations right now, whether, they're upside down in their home and they're unable to make payments because they lost their job, they're behind on bills, whatever the case may be, is that don't let the situation get worse by not reaching out to somebody. Because if you can take some proactive steps now, like let's just say we align you with Rondi, who can sit down and go over your entire credit report, say, okay, this is where you're at right now, but let's have a plan moving forward. Now, that plan might include, maybe having to go into a Chapter 7 bankruptcy or Chapter 13, maybe a short sale. And maybe it is a foreclosure because a short sale is not an option either. But at least you know up front that you have a path to get you back on the right track. I think most of the time what happens is you go through one of these events and you didn't have a plan in place, so that instead of this, hurting your credit for maybe 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, it ends up hurting it for 7, 8, 9, and 10. Just because you didn't put a plan in place to just get these things corrected. I mean, I will tell you, I mean, his track record, Ronnie's track record is phenomenal. I mean, roughly 8 out of 10 items gets permanently deleted from the credit report. Now, that's not saying that, necessarily your specific short sale, your foreclosure, your bankruptcy is going to get removed, but potentially, most of the time, the banks, the creditors are not reporting the information per the Fair Credit Reporting Act. They're just not. They're not doing it. And I'd say that almost like 80, well, there's something like a statistic of almost like 80% of all credit reports have errors on them of some type right now. I mean, that tells you that you should probably even be reviewing your credit report at least once a year, if not twice a year. If you'd like to, I'd be glad to even put you on to a free annual review. You can call me up. That's free of charge. 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. All you have to do is pick up the phone and just say, Ryan, I just want to make sure that, I don't have anything that's suspect on my credit report that I didn't know about. Because, to me, that's worth its weight in gold. Because the next time that you go to obtain a credit card or an auto loan or a mortgage, you should know where you stand. And I know too many people go into these type of transactions blind, and they assume they have a 700 credit score until they get to the table and they realize that they only have a 550. And guess what? Then they feel like they're pushed into the position of having to accept the higher rate. That's not what I want for you guys. 877-245-2030. Give me a call and I'd be glad to help you out with a free annual credit report review. We're coming up on the end of the show. Lewis, I want to thank you again for coming on. It's been a great show.
Thanks for having me.
Can you please tell our listeners where they can go to check out Home Gain Services?
Sure. Go to homegain.com. You can search homes for sale. You can find a realtor and compare realtors anonymously. You can get an instant home valuation. And you can also check out our most recent survey, the Home Gain 2012 Home Ownership Satisfaction Survey, as well as a whole host of surveys on the direction of home values, home improvement tips, and FSBO versus Realtor. It's an interesting survey to check out as well. Homegain.com for all your real estate needs. Please go check it out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Lewis. Guys, thank you for tuning in to Real Estate 360 Live. We'll be back again next Monday from 2 to 3 p.m. Remember, if you have any questions, concerns, finance, real estate, credit related, the phone number to reach me is 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. Or via the web at realestate360live.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again next week from 2 to 3 p.m. Thank you for listening to Real Estate 360 Live.